Hey guys, I need to replace my input seals and output spindle seals on this, on all the hubs on this thing. I got one that's leaking. So I got it jacked up here. The front two I did by removing the hub. The back two I think I'm going to try to do in place. So first thing, drain the gear oil out of it. I think the next thing I'm going to do is remove the half shaft, and I'll take this this access plug out right here and undo the bolts up on the brake rotor. All right, got the bolts pulled out for the half shaft right up in there. Take off the access plug and then remove the bolt and that's inside of there. I'm going to try not to lose the washer down inside. I don't know if that's possible, but it looks to me like you could. So I'll be careful when I take that bolt out. All right, got that bolt out. Didn't lose the washer. It's funny, the sealant on this plug here smells like lemons. I'm serious. This is the third hub that I've done, and it clearly smells like lemon. All right, I'm going to disconnect this tie rod right here so that I can rotate the hub and maybe make it easier to get the half shaft out. All right, I'm going to turn that castle nut upside down so that I can give it a little whack later on. Alright, and if it doesn't come out easy, I'm not going to kill the thing. If it doesn't come out easy, I'm just going to put some heat to it. It takes a little time to get that thing heated up enough to where it will release. And when it does, it releases pretty easy, I've found. Tie rod ends as well as the ball joints. I didn't even have to hit it. It just popped right up on its own. Gotta be real careful you don't melt that boot though. Alright, tell you what, that nut's toasty. See, this turns a little. Yeah, okay. Alright, so hopefully that half shaft will come right out of there. I don't know what the deal is, but it looks to me like there is, because of the emergency brake cable, it looks to me like I am not going to be able to get this half shaft out of here without unhooking the top ball joint. There you go. There we go. It'll come out now. Okay. One half shaft. Okay. That's good. Now I can get at these seals. clean all these bolts up and stuff before they go back on. Pay attention to this little cover. It's got a couple of thick washers underneath it. Probably not critical, but they are there. I'm not going to take that cover off just yet. I think I'm going to get these bolts out and just get everything loosened up, blow all the slag off, and then take the covers off. All right. Nothing is on so tight that you have to have air tools. You don't have to. It's much more organic if you don't. Because these are really green vehicles. They're very organic. I got paper towels in here. There's that. Okay. Alright, that's fine. I think the gears look good to me. They look just like the other ones. There's not a lot of lash in between them. Very, very, very minor. The other thing that we'd be looking for is the amount of movement on these bearings and the shaft that supports this input gear. You want to look at the motion, in and out. And then there's spacer gaskets underneath that plate, which adjust that motion. And I'll tell you, on the other two that I took apart, I could detect zero motion, but there wasn't any binding in the bearing, so it moved freely. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to screw with it. I'm not changing that. I don't have a dial indicator anyways. I would buy one if I thought I needed one, but I'm not going to mess with this. So when I take this seal out, we don't have to take that cover off. We'll just pop that seal out and make sure we keep everything clean and then put the new seals in. All right, so anyways, next thing to do is unlock these tabs, probably on the other side. That's where they're set in, and then unscrew the spindle nut. I'm just going to use this little punch to release those locking tabs. Here's the socket for getting the spindle nut off. You can easily get it off. It's torquing it back on where you need to have this right here. So if you're going to have a Humvee, buy one of these. I got mine from Black Dog Customs, and I bought a glow plug wrench too. You should just have a glow plug wrench. You're probably going to need it. So I got one from Black Dog Customs also. It's a nice piece right there. That thing is really really cool. I'm sure I don't even tell you that because of the angle this hub is on, everything's coming apart when this thing's off. So I'm going to hold on to it. One spindle nut. One lock retainer. Washer. One bearing. Stay there, I don't want you getting dirty. Alright, gently. See that? When you read the technical manual, this hub is not set up the way the technical manual says it would be. But it works, so I'm not screwing with it. So there you go, that's the spindle. Set that aside here. We'll take that gear out and check that over. See this piece? This slides down over the spindle. See that little paint? That was facing out. So we'll get the seals out, inspect all the bearings and stuff that we can see. I'm not taking this apart up top. If the bottom looks good, I'm going to assume the top looks good. I'm not tearing into it because I don't have those bushing gaskets there, the spacer gaskets. So let me just try moving this. Zero movement. There is zero movement in that, side to side. But it turns perfectly freely with no resistance. So I'm gonna say it's perfect. And if you look at the spec in the book, it's such a small number, I'm not surprised you can't see movement, that you can't detect it. All right, so I'm gonna wipe out the very bottom of this cavity in here, and just there's a little area down in there that is actually lower than the drain plug. So, you know, there's gonna be some grit and junk down in there that I want to get out. All right, I got everything wire brushed. All the nuts and bolts are pretty well cleaned up. There's the cover. I gotta wipe that down, but I got everything that's loose off of it. This spindle gear, very interesting. Of course, the front ones, I don't know, I thought this was like all four-wheel drive all the time on these things, but the front gears had no wear. These ones, you can see it just a little tiny bit right there, all the way around, right in that spot. You know, like there's a little hot spot there. But it's not discolored or anything, you know, I say hot spot, but I can just see there's a little bit of wear there in that face. The rest of it's pretty clean. So the only other thing I need to do here is I'm going to sand down this face right here so that when I put the seal in, I don't know where the seal is going to ride on this, so I want to make sure it's nice and clean when it goes back together all the way, just in case. All right, that's a lot better. Still got a little line there, but I'll tell you, it feels pretty smooth. There's the seals. That's the input shaft seal. It's different. The one that's in there right now looks like this one. So I'm going to put some gasket cinch on there from Permatex around the perimeter of that, because it's not very rubbery. You know, it looks like just paint. I want to make sure it seals up good. That's what I'm going to put on there. It's getting a little dark, but I'm just going to go ahead and get the old seals out real quick. Is that one on? That one, the spring fell off when I popped it out. I'll make sure you don't lose that spring down in there. I guess you won't, but you won't lose it. But so that's what the original input shaft seal looks like. I kind of prefer those, I think. No sealant required. They got a nice rubberiness around the outer perimeter to help them seal up better, so there'll be no leakage. All right, I'm gonna wipe everything down, look it over with a flashlight, make sure I don't see any grit anywhere, and then we'll tap those new seals in. And okay guys, when I did the front hubs, I screwed up. I thought it looked cool, kind of trick, to leave that seal, the very edge of that seal, like a 1/16 of an inch up above this surface here. I didn't think that'd be a problem at all. And when I went to put the half shafts back in, the base of the half shaft, which is like a machined piece of steel, hit that little tiny lip that was hanging out beyond this this face here. So I would just say, do tap them in flush with that face. I wouldn't go deeper, but make sure they're flush. All right, first thing, the gear goes in. There's the dab of paint. I don't know if you can see that. So I just gently set that in there. There we go. Next, the spindle. I'm going to take a little bit of oil and put it on the seal, just to be sure it doesn't run dry when I first start going. Maybe a little on the base too, what the heck, right? There we go. On the spindle, a little bit there too. And around that surface that I sanded. Okay. So, I'll gently slide that in through the gear. Without screwing up the seal, right? You don't want to pop the spring off the back of that seal. If you pop the spring off the back of that seal, it's going to leak. There we go. Okay. Now, the next thing that goes on is this little funnel-shaped spacer. There's that. And the bearing. And the big washer. And then this star washer here. Which locks everything together here. All right, and then the spindle nut. It doesn't go on the way you might think. It goes on with this chamfered edge facing inside the hub. And then what will happen is those tabs will wrap right up around that. I just want to make sure for sure I don't cross thread it in any way. Yeah, I guess that's it. All right. There we go. I'm gonna need to get a torque wrench from another guy that I know because mine is not working as of today. Right, so that's 40 foot-pounds. Rotate it through. I think the book says 5 times each direction to seat the bearings. Then reset your torque wrench to 23 to 27 foot-pounds. And I'm going to loosen it up slightly. Okay, so I loosened it up just a little bit. Turn it around and torque it to 23 to 27. I did 25. Now let's just see if we've got any of the locking tabs that line up here. Those two line up pretty well. Yep, we'll use those ones. So let me just snug it up just a whisker more so they line up perfect. All right, so I can bend those in, but I'm going to get it so I have 3 tabs locked. Okay, I marked that, and I'm going to carefully cut that so that that one is holding as well. I'll have 3 tabs. All right, we'll bend these tabs over. It's torqued to 25 foot-pounds. Those look good. There, I got 3. I don't know if you can see that. But I notched that with a cutoff wheel and a really nice fine file I used to square up the edge. And I did not compromise the strength of that spindle nut by cutting it any deeper than the ones that are already there. Well, just got to put these covers back on and get some oil in it. Get this top ball joint hooked back up. All right, let's put the steering cover on. I'm gonna torque these to 65 foot-pounds. There's one. 2. 3. 4. Here we go. All right, got the sealer on the access cover. The other day I put this cover on upside down. I thought for sure the level was supposed to be up higher. But fortunately it won't line up actually if you put it on that way. It needs to be on the correct way or it will not line up. This gets tightened up to 18 Newton meters. That's was the easiest way for me to read it on my smaller torque wrench here. Doesn't seem very tight though. Alright, I put a little Teflon sealant on the drain plug. Let's put a little oil on this seal here before we put the half shaft in. Maybe a little in the bearing too, huh? Let's do that. Alright, see how much trouble this is going to give me getting this in there. Just want to be really careful of the seal. There we go. Nice. That went good. There we go. I'm on the home stretch, guys. I got to add gear oil. 80W90, about a half quart. Got to throw the plug back in over the bolt that holds the half shaft into the geared hub. Got to tighten up that tie rod end, tighten up that ball joint. That's 70 foot-pounds on the tie rod end, and the upper ball joint is 65. The lower one is 73. I didn't loosen that one up, but that's the number on that. The last thing is that I'm out of Loctite, and I was looking in the technical manual and it says to use Loctite on those bolts back there that fasten the half shaft to the differential. So I'm going to finish that tomorrow, but that's it. So now I've got new seals in here, and I should be good to go. I just got one hub left to do. I'm probably going to just pull it right out of the vehicle because I actually think it's easier to work on them that way than to do them in place. That's all I got for you. I hope this was helpful. Take care. Bye.